Welcome back. Here is a quick look at our booth from yesterday. So we are an hour and a half into the sale, into the market, and I have sold three things. I sold eyes to another vendor, I sold a turtle, and one other thing. We have a 2-guitar music thing, and 2 booths down there is a mom who is screaming at her toddler nonstop as he runs around, her preschooler, and it's just ongoing. There is no traffic, and half the vendors didn't show up. Hey friends, so we have an hour left of our show, and I just broke $100. There has been absolutely no traffic. It is a very rough day. So, yeah. Also, I am going to talk to the coordinator about the girl screaming at her toddler for the last 4 hours, and the fact that I was told I was the crocheter for the show, and there's 2 other people selling plushies plus the other wearables, which it's not their fault. I've had a great conversation with my neighbor across the way, but very misleading. So we'll see how the last hour wraps up. So I just had a family in my booth for the 5th time. It's 2 little girls and a mom speaking French. I can only pick up like every 22nd word. But they came back 4 different times and still never purchased anything. She told them every time that they couldn't purchase. Hey friends, this is Beth coming back to you on Easter Sunday now, day after my show, and just wanted to give a recap. I did not make a market prep video. The kids made my 12-year-old made a couple of our mini snakes in a blue and a purplish berry color. My big made a gecko lizard to replace one that sold during my live stream on Palmstreet Friday night. And then on Thursday, Friday, I made a couple of these chompers. He is super cute. So this guy is a crocodile by Kay's Crochet Critters, and I just think he is adorable. So he's about the length of my forearm here, and this guy has some gold eyes. These are hand painted by myself for the kids. And then I made this guy in the Baja Blue Posh. That one's bok choy. This is the Baja Blue. Again, hand painted eyes. Super pretty. I just love how those eyes turned out. I'll have to make more with that colorway. As far as the sale goes, setup was at 8:30. The show was from 10 to 3, and it was about 25-mile-per-hour gust of winds, which wasn't a big factor. We put up their back and our side wall for our tent, and that kept the majority of the wind out. It was very sunny. It was quite warm. It was the warmest market I've done so far this year, certainly as it's getting warmer. And booth fee was $45. It was 164 miles round trip from me. This is the 3-Season Market in Raleigh. It is behind the Target on Six Forks Road. I'm not sure if anybody semi-local-ish follows me, but that's where we were. As far as traffic, this coordinator has been very upfront with her marketing. She has a Facebook group for the vendors where she has published her marketing receipts and the different venues that she is promoting and marketing with. In addition, she has a number of helpers, family members it looks like, that kind of do the little clicker things for when people come through and keep a rough estimate on numbers for individuals. So certainly markets fluctuate and so forth. I have not yet seen numbers for yesterday. I can actually look real quick to see if she has posted that yet. 3-season vendor only group. So, new posts? No. So, the last post currently is when she sent out a notification regarding that our setup emails were sent. So, traffic was dismal. Only about half the vendors showed up. I'm not sure because yesterday was a scheduled protest day, if people abandoned to go protest or if something else came up in the community. I'm not quite sure. Because it's such a distance from me, I am not well versed in all of the events in the Tri-County, whatever they call it, Raleigh area. So unfortunately, traffic was really bad. I had a number of people like come into my booth going, we're not buying anything, and then let the kids play with everything. It's very frustrating. I would love to hear how you deal with that. One, we had a couple of musicians that played while we were there yesterday. One was their family members, a mom and 2 kids. Apparently dad was the guitarist. They kept coming into my booth 4 times. And the kids are picking up everything and mom is telling them, we're not buying anything. We're not buying anything. How do you tell them to get the heck out of my booth? If you're not buying anything, why do you keep coming back? Why do you keep touching all of my things if you are not buying anything? She told me the first time they came in that their grandmother will make all of this stuff for them and they're not buying anything. Please leave. So I get there, I'm setting up. The girl across from me has crochet. We have a lot of the same things. She's got chickens, she's got cats, she's got a lot of things. People ended up going back and forth between our booths comparing prices. I found it to be really poor taste. When I signed up for this market, I was put on a wait list. I was then contacted a couple of weeks later saying that the crochet artist they had backed out and I was next in line and I could choose any dates that I wanted. So I did not anticipate having multiple crocheters. On top of that, so there was another crochet artist who did purses and some other like shawl stuff. No worries there. I don't do any of those things. There is no competition between us. The girl across from me who had her crochet, it is not her fault to a point. We also had at the other end what appeared to be a Temu reseller. She had all the cutesy things, all the licensed characters, all over her tables. That really irritated me. This was the first time that I had been at an event with a Temu reseller. And then as I saw people carrying their little Mario figurines, all made out of, not even worsted weight, probably embroidery thread. They're 3 inches tall. They're carrying them all over. So after the event is over, because, there's people, somebody was always talking to the coordinator. She had her own booth, all that kind of stuff. After the event was over last night, I emailed the coordinator. I'm like, when you sent me that email, I did not anticipate having 2 other crochet plushie character vendors. Did they not disclose crochet on their application? I'm a little frustrated at that because people did go back and forth between our booths comparing prices. And then I heard people haggling with her. So, and I'm all over the place here, sorry. So before the market started, the girl across from me came over and started talking to me. This was the 4th time that she had been selling crochet at a market. And she wondered about pricing. She wondered about some things. She has signed up for a very, very large market in our area, which is actually closer to me than Raleigh. I did not sign up for this event because the market fee is multiple hundreds of dollars. And I am not in a business place where I can take that kind of financial gamble. If the weather is bad and I'm out $45, I'm out $45. if the weather is bad for the weekend of this festival, I can't lose $250 to $350, whatever that fee was, because it's like a Friday and a Saturday. I can't take that kind of risk at this point in my business. I don't have that type of cash flow to put out towards that. Maybe eventually, but I'm not comfortable with that at this time. So she's then asking me what kind of things I do for market prep, what are my best sellers, things like that. And I had a good conversation with her. We talked about a number of things. She bought a pair of safety eyes that I had on display, said she had a critter in mind for them that she was currently doing. And so I don't blame her to a point. However, unfortunately, the coordinator did say that she did not disclose the crochet on her application. And the only other crochet applicant was the purse person. The Temu reseller actually put down jewelry on her application. So this is not the coordinator's fault. However, when somebody shows up selling something completely different than what they've registered for, should they be allowed to stay? The jewelry turned Temu crochet reseller, how do you deal with that? Do they just get told to pack up and leave? Like, how do you, as a coordinator, I would love to hear if any coordinators are watching this. How do you address that? Does that person just not get asked back? Does that person lose their spot if they've paid for a number of them? So when I registered for this, I picked out 3 dates. The original date, the application did not send me a receipt, did not send me what I filled out on the form. And so I don't even remember what dates I had originally requested when I submitted the initial application. And so when she came back to me, she's like, you're welcome to pick any dates that you want. I picked 3 dates because at that point I've now scheduled other shows. I don't remember what I had scheduled to be. So if this other person has also prepaid for a number of shows, like, what do you do with that? Do you refund? I'm not sure what happens here. So the other part of this with the market, somebody who was 2 booths down had a preschooler with them. And I mentioned this in my little vlogging as we were there. This 3-year-old child, little boy, kept running around. He's grabbing the tent that was then between us and shaking the posts. Like, if he grabbed in the wrong spot, he could have potentially unclicked the tent and made that side collapse. He kept grabbing tables and shaking them. This mother was doing had epoxy stuff that he kept taking her stuff, and I guess some of them looked like ice cubes that she had made, and he would just dump out the bin on the pavement. He would then just run away. At one point, the dad just left and went and sat in his car. She's now running a booth, screaming at a toddler, and then running after him as well. I did not find out until after we were coming home that then her and the dad would go behind the booth and were smoking, and it's all blowing in my children's face that are sitting kind of behind the booth in the shady area. Had I known that, they need to go smoke elsewhere. Like, I don't want my kids, smoking in my kid's face. I was very irritated at that. I could smell smoke in my booth, but I had the back panel up, and I could not see them. I didn't know where it was coming from. Again, not the coordinator's fault. However, the coordinator apparently did not hear any of the yelling. I don't know how, because she's screaming over the musicians. And this toddler was running up to her booth.
Like, the lady even yelled, the coordinator running the booth even yelled at the toddler because the toddler was picking up her stuff and dropping it. You didn't hear any of it? Okay. It has the potential for being a great market. Numbers that she has posted other weeks have been great. 500 plus for people that walked through. And she has posted the return vendor rate, which has been between 40 and 60%, depending on the show. Totally understand that because I'm not doing every single show. I have other obligations between children, family, all of that things. Just frustrated. Total sales, $119. After cost of materials and so forth, we're down to $74. Then we take out our booth fee and gas, and we've broken even. I, as a artist, have not been paid. Again, so is this my area? I see people posting $1,000 shows. Is this my area? Is the triad, that's what they call it, the Raleigh triad, not purchasing things? I had a really great show in Wilmington. Maybe between ourselves and Wilmington and Raleigh, people just aren't spending money. I find that hard to believe, though. Am I just picking the worst weekends? I don't know. I just very frustrated. Is it the economy? Is it our area? What is going on? When my sales, my markets for the fall, like my worst shows are $400 to $500. And I'm doing a quarter of that. So, yeah. So I sold a couple of pens yesterday, my epoxy pens. I sold a peep. I sold some watermelon wedges. We sold a couple of the handmade paper cards, a medium chicken, owl, dog, a couple of turtles. Just frustrating. And now, if you've watched my previous things, the other market I was doing at the nursery, I had determined that I wasn't going to be going back. Well, the marketing coordinator, who I mentioned in the last Benson Market recap, quit and left. They've now canceled all of their remaining events. But we haven't been reimbursed for ones that we've paid for that they have now canceled. So, I'm out the $35 that was going to be for the May 3rd show that they have now canceled. Let me get a drink here. And do I want to do this Raleigh market on May 3rd? Right before Mother's Day, potential to be a great show. Are there any protests or other things going on that day? What are my odds here? I really, really need a good show. The Palmstreet shows, Palmstreet is really driven by social media. Unless you have a social media following that is coming over to Palmstreet, there are not enough people on Palmstreet just buying things to come in. My shows, even though I have been getting more and more bookmarks as far as people linking the show, favoriting the show, following the show, whatever it is called, and they're getting notified of me going live for these shows, I'm only having about 35 people pop in and out. So unless people are following me and getting that notification, there's no traffic on there. So unlike LA Crochet that's got, 17,000 followers on YouTube, I don't have that traffic to drive to the Palmstreet show. So I sell one or two things with each show. And I would like to think that momentum will continue to build, but it certainly takes a lot of time and energy to go live for an hour and present all of these things that are for sale. So again, toss up, is it worth the time and energy for the $20 or $30 sale? There's no booth fees, it's just the transaction fees that then are there. Last night on my live, I sold Gertrude the llama. Sorry for the crinkling because of children and Italian ice and cotton candy at events. I'm now putting white things into plastic bags. And as my eyes are shifty, my camera's over here. Where I see myself is on the other side of the screen. So I'm trying to pay attention to there, but as I'm trying to see if things are in the display, I've got to look sideways. So, and as I tend to think to my top left. So that's, my eyes are all over the place. For people who are sitting and crocheting, you may not even be noticing that is what I do when I'm watching crochet YouTube videos. So hopefully it's not too crazy for you. But that's my show. Do I now sign up for May 3rd? I currently have nothing going on that weekend. I really, really, really need a good show between, then yesterday morning as we're leaving, I get 500 feet from my house and I get a low tire warning. We turn around, we come back, we find a nail in my tire. The neighbor, 3 doors down, is a construction. Owns a construction company, whatever. Contractor. He drives his truck like a madman around the curve, down our road. We constantly find nails in our road. Constantly. If I could prove that it was him, I would take him to small claims court because I have replaced more tires in the 5 years I have lived here because of roofing nails in my tires than I did my entire 25 years of driving in Illinois. It's ridiculous. So we started the day with a nail in my tire in the outer ring that is non-patchable. So while the show was starting, my husband then took the vehicle to whatever that tires place is. And we have road hazard and everything else on it. But because the tires were old enough, we then had to replace the second tire so the tires would match. So that was my day as well. So a little edgy starting my day with a nail in my tire. A brand new roofing nail. And then it just, we were fortunate. He got right in and out of the tire shop. Things went very smoothly for that. He had just gotten paid on Friday. It's just trying to catch a break. I'm sure y'all know how that feels. So we work more. We install a good work ethic into the kids. But I also don't want them to be doing this and feeling this same grind forever and ever. So there we go. I am now it just seems very frustrating with the way that this market season is going. And do I sign up for spring markets next year? I enjoy doing the markets. I love seeing the kids pick out their friend. I get so much joy and satisfaction seeing the kids pick out a friend, even the adults. I had somebody come in yesterday and she's like, "Do you have owls?" And so I pulled out this owl and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I need it." And another lady came in and she was so enamored with my teal stingray. It's just a huge, big plush pillow. I need to move over so you can actually see. It's a huge, big plush pillow. And, then she sets it down. She's like, "I'll think about it and I'll be back." She didn't come back. Another lady, had something else that she was all enamored over. "I'm going to walk around and I'll be back." They don't come back. But I love seeing the excitement for these people who pick things up. I did get a custom order yesterday for a older cartoon character. The dog and the bird. Let me go back and find it. Kipper the dog, because it is an older show, apparently. So the mom was saying that she can't find it. This was a cartoon from when she was little, and now I see that it says that the movie was in 2004. The TV show was from 97 to 2000. That is why I do not remember it. Yeah, that was not my time for watching childhood cartoons. Yeah, so, but she would like a Kipper the dog. She had ordered one off of Etsy. However, the estimated delivery was going to be 4 months out. So if I were to do the May 3rd show, it would give me a delivery opportunity for this Kipper. Because, again, that's quite a round trip. So it would be a good opportunity to do that. I would at least, can credit that income from the custom order towards that show, or towards this show potentially. We're still not necessarily getting paid a whole lot here as we do this. That was something else yesterday, that there were a number of college students that usually I do really well with the college students. I'm not sure what this group was different with, but they audibly almost threw a fit over the cost of my large turtles. I had these guys sitting out front. I just love these large turtles. This is the Jumbo by Crochet with Jenna, and I've got custom painted eyes on these guys, and just beautiful. I really love this green and blue Bernat color. It has really grown on me, and certainly much softer, much better flow for the colors, with the two meshed together really well than some of the other ones that I have. And he's marked at $30. He takes time. He takes nearly a full skein of yarn, and he takes a ton of stuffing. He is heavy. He is substantial. My pink one that I have here, it takes the majority of the ombre. This one's, it's got custom little confetti eyes here, and I think she's beautiful with her ombre coloring here. And they stood in front, going back and forth over my pricing, having this dialogue between them about how I could charge that. And it was so rude. And I never think of something good to say in the moment. I'm the person who 5 minutes later, it hits me in the back of my head going, dang it, I should have said something. And I need to get better with some of those snappy comebacks. So I would love to hear how you deal with some of those people as well. I certainly can use all the tips. I'm that overthinker person. If I have something ready, I'm good. But when I get caught off guard, it's 5 minutes later and I just want to scream it at them down the street. So that's how things were going. This weekend, my kids have a dance event on Saturday morning, so I did not schedule anything knowing that this festival was coming up. They perform at a local festival, and we never know quite what time our studio is scheduled to perform. This time we are very early in the morning. It will give us a good day of rest-ish. My husband's birthday is coming up. It's the end of the month. There's going to be extra push for all of my charting and work as a diabetes educator to get that finished up and build out. So I've got a few other things planned as far as topics for videos for some of the upcoming weeks. If there are things that you would like me to go over or discuss, certainly pop those in the comments as well. I'm always open to suggestions and feedback. I've had a lot of inquiry about teaching. Unfortunately, I'm just so in the middle of nowhere, and I'm just not sure that having a Zoom or something would be any more effective than doing it like my videos that I've got on the Magic Circle and things like that. So I just feel like it needs more hands-on, standing over, maybe because that's how I've always taught tumbling or any of my dance classes. I've always been right there to help. And while I've definitely given lectures on diet, nutrition, and other diabetes related things, it's more informational, not a hands-on working with your hands sort of thing. Even, all of my aerobics classes, when I taught group fitness, I'm there in the studio. Of course, 25 years ago, I would have never imagined doing it virtually. So it's a different environment now. I'm just not certain that I can convey what I want through a remote option. So I think that about covers it. That goes through the notes that I have here. This is one of my longest videos ever. Thank you for hanging out with me and listening. I really wish I had more local vendor friends to network with, because I do all these shows that are 45 minutes, an hour and a half away. I don't have that same connection right here. So I appreciate being a sounding board and letting you, or letting me use you as a sounding board for some of these things. I appreciate the feedback that I receive as well, outside of the random take them to court and sue them comments that I get every now and then. So thank you. If you haven't liked and subscribed, I would love for you to stick around. Again, 90% of those who are watching these videos have not subscribed, so I would certainly appreciate that. And I look forward to connecting with you again. Happy Easter for those who might be watching this in real time. I'm hoping to get this out later this afternoon. All my food is prepped, and we will be having dinner soon with just the 4 of us, since, again, no family here. So y'all take care and have a great day.